My name is Gabe Tinge. I use they, he pronouns. I come from O'Fallon, Illinois, and currently I work as a caterer at Bread Company, or Panera Bread, St. Louis Bread Co. Um, I feel like that gets more and more complicated with time, I'll be honest. I think over time, I feel more comfortable just saying queer than anything. But I think more traditionally, I would just say gay, you know. I went to a small K through 12 Baptist school that was very close knit, small, 200 students, the entire K through 12. And so it was not a very safe place to come out in, or a place where that was even an option for a large part of my childhood. And since it was somewhere that everyone I knew was, it wasn't somewhere I was willing to leave or ready to leave early. So I knew I had to see it through to the end, but I knew I wasn't welcome there. And that creates a very toxic environment for many, many years of your developmental period of your life. And not to get ahead of myself here, but since I know what's coming next, that's a big part of what a lot of these bills frustrate me. What frustrates me about a lot of these bills is it's not so much creating something new that doesn't already exist. It's rather the illegalment or the justification of the system that already exists and the requirement of it to be required in every instance, that there is no freedom to offer a different experience, but that is the required one for every situation. And I don't think any child should ever have to go through that. Like, that is not something anyone should need to go through. Well, a bill like that, I would say, is even further reaching when it exists because, or maybe not now, but like at least in the 2000s, mid 2000s, when I was in elementary school, um, we did talk about race in school. And that's what scares me about a lot of what's happened politically just in the conservative or Republican spaces in the past however many years, is that they are more conservative than they were when we were growing up in them. That, like, we did talk about race and like religion and a lot of these concepts. We didn't talk about sexuality in any regard at all, but like we did talk about a lot of those other concepts, not like in a progressive or positive way, I say all the time, but like it was being discussed. And to not discuss it at all is, in any regard, more damaging than anything, because not knowing who you are, or like not having who you are expressed in the people around you or in the information or the media, creates a very isolating experience. And it's not something that we should be like declaring as a mandatory part of growing up for a majority of the population. Yeah, I definitely knew that there was something different pretty early on. I'd say like by age 11 for sure. But it took at least a year, year and a half before I had any way to verbalize what was happening, because I had so little of a concept of what it meant to be anything other than straight, or anything other than a man, or anything other than just what was defined as normal, that feeling anything or experiencing anything different was completely undefinable by the terminologies and the language that was given to me as I grew up. And that makes you think that you are broken, and it makes you think that you did something to break yourself. And if it's isolating enough and you don't feel the freedom or the ability to even reach out for years, you just keep that to yourself, and you don't talk to anyone else about it. And so creating the environment to where these kids can speak out about it as early as possible is like incredibly detrimental in their development. It's really important. Well, I guess the problem is, like, I know it's a shit excuse, and we know it's a shit excuse, and we know it makes no sense. But when you're in it, and it's the only thing you know, it's the only thing you know. It is your reality. And when that is what you grow up in, too, and you never have anything that happens in your life that forces you to challenge it or question or think that maybe this isn't the way it should be, then that is what you're going to put your all into supporting. And while I believe that maybe there are lots of people that do believe these things, like personally, like individuals, um, that the majority of the population does not. That the majority of the population knows queer people in their everyday life, and whether they're religious or not, they are accepting of those people because they know that they are part of their community and they are the people that make the world around them work. And that the fact that this is what our legislators are pretty much just shoving onto us without any option is it's not even what most religious people want. It's not what most straight people want. Um, and so that's what's just shocking about it. It's just like, this is an attack. It's intentional. They know what they're doing. This isn't to support a certain population of voters that they want. This is intentional destruction of community in order to serve their goals. I think that I would just want them to hear everything I've already said. That, you know, I don't think there's anything I could say to them that would change their mind. That, you know, I guess that does kind of seem hopeless, but like, I think that the strongest thing that we can show them is just us and like all of us united and together, um, showing that this is not what the people want. This is not what anyone wants.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you taking part. I love you.